Hello, thank you for joining me. Today I want to talk about Criminal Girls Invitation on the PlayStation Vita. This is a game that I got not too long ago, and I showed it off in a pickups video. And after the interest that was expressed in the game after that, I definitely wanted to do a follow-up video and let you guys know what this game is like and what I thought of it. I've played through to completion, getting sort of one of the girls' roots, so to speak. And I really enjoyed this, so I just wanted to kind of give you guys an idea of what this game is like. Um, so she, she's fond of slapping you apparently, so you can choose what to say. This game it's an RPG. It has a really unique battle system that is fun. I think it's not entirely better than maybe a more traditional system would be, but it has its charms and it's interesting. Definitely its most notorious and unique feature is the way that you level up the character's abilities. We'll talk more about that later. But for starters here you can see that these girls are all imprisoned, and this isn't simply a prison. Oh, here she's like, oh, three of them have run away. So she's like, well, whatever. It turns out that there are seven girls in this total, seven main characters. And it's interesting, they stand for the seven cardinal sins. I forget what they all are, but they're like, gluttony and sloth and lust and like that sort of stuff. And here you're like, hell, dead. And she's like, well, you're not dead. I don't know if you're like in some sort of coma or something like that, but you're playing as this warden, and you're literally guiding these girls' souls, towards reincarnation so that they can be reincarnated. So here you can see the battle system, and it's pretty unique. You can only have 4 characters on the field at a time out of the 7 that you have, but you can swap characters in and out. And here you see each of them has, a skill or an attack that they can do, but you can only choose one per turn. So all of the characters have a whole bunch of different skills that they can use. Some of them are offensive, some of them are defensive. But the game kind of decides like what to present you with. Some of it seems pretty random, but it does seem like against certain enemies it'll favor certain attacks that might be good, and depending on what you picked, it seems to in some ways lock you into a certain kind of a strategy, or at least suggest a certain strategy to you, if you've picked a certain attack to start with. I don't know exactly how the numbers get crunched in the behind the scenes, but here we can see. Actually, I don't know what I picked there. I think that was just a regular attack with Kisaragi. Um, she's got a bitty bitty stay. This is like an electric attack that will stun or paralyze the enemy. She's got a Neketsu Punchy, which is like a burning punch. Um, so the skills are really cool. Some of them are magic, some of them are physical, and that will make a difference, against different kinds of enemies. And there's a lot of different strategies you might employ if you're fighting regular enemies or if you're fighting a boss. You sometimes will really want to swap in your sub characters, and sometimes you'll just kind of keep the party as is. So it's a pretty interesting and dynamic battle system, and I liked it throughout the whole game. Now, speaking of the battle system and the different abilities that you can unlock, probably the most notorious aspect of this game is the punishment system. Now, you use these punishments, and they're basically like these mini games to unlock the girls' skills and level them up. And it's these basically play out like mini games that utilize the touch screen, but they're sort of highly sexualized. I'll let you listen to the dialogue here so you can get an idea. So, I think this caters to a very specific audience in this regard. She's like, "Mo, jozu nandakara," like, geez, you're pretty good." So, um, definitely a unique and interesting leveling up system. Now, as you progress through the games, the girls will have different requests of you. These girls' orders here. So she's like, I have something I want to talk to you about. Uh, she's like, would you kind of you know talk to me privately, basically. And he's like, well, sure, but what do you want to talk about? Or, well, I guess we could call it a first date then. So I picked that one just for fun. She's like, a date? It's like, well, it's like, I guess if you think of it that way, we could call it a first date. She's like, well, I have a place that I want to go back to. So it's like she used to like live out or when she was out in the country with her grandmother. Um, there was a place nearby with like lots of vegetation. It was like a pond or a marsh or something like that. She's like it always felt relaxing for her. So so her request, she wants to go back to this place, and they're like, well, this place back on one of the other boards that we were on, was kind of like that, and all of these the girls' requests, the girls' orders, are like this. So at the camps, you can actually, if you hit the other button square instead of circle to go into the camp, you can teleport. So we can pick a previous board, we can pick one of the levels on it. So we've gone back to the third floor here, and you can see the hearts that are marked on the map. Those are areas that relate to the girls' orders. So whenever you get those, you'll definitely want to do that. And really, those just lower the amount of magic points that it takes for the girls to do their abilities. Now, in addition to your battle abilities, you have these field abilities too. So here we're using Kisaragi's. She can find, she'll basically tell you how many treasure chests there are left to find on the board, which is nice because I didn't realize some of them can be hidden. It's also really good to find them because you can find like combo attacks and really useful things in them. So it's good to use that ability. Here we've used Ron's ability, which brings up this shield, and that's really nice because it will keep enemies from showing up. So if you just want to, go through a board, you're trying to get from point A to point B, you really want to use that. It's super useful. Here, Alice's ability, which we just would have used, gives 10 magic points from her to one of the other characters. Tomoe's ability, which we just selected here, teleports us to the last camp that we were at, which can be very useful for, again, kind of avoiding enemies and just helping you get around. Here, this is the opposite of that. Sako's ability will actually call enemies to you. This is invaluable for grinding levels and things like that. I didn't feel like I had to grind a bunch in this game. The battles aren't necessarily easy, but they're not necessarily hard either. Here, Yuko's ability will heal everyone, and the last character, I forget her name, she will heal an individual character. So, I didn't feel like I had to grind a lot, but definitely, once you get to the end of the game, if you really want to unlock all of the girls' abilities, you'll definitely need to grind some. I guess one of the drawbacks, Shin, that's her name. One of the drawbacks of the game is if you want to platinum this game, it seems like you'll have to put in a little bit of work. I don't know exactly how much because I haven't done it, and it might be pretty reasonable compared to other games that you might want to platinum. But for instance, when I got to the end of the game, you get a lot of these points. They're called OP, which I have to assume stands for Oshioki points. But don't quote me on that, I'm just making a guess. They are what you use when you want to play those mini games to level up the characters. They're also what you would use to buy items in the game, which can be really helpful, especially in boss battles and things like that. And if you want to play this game and you don't know any Japanese, I really think you'd be doing all right if you're just able to look up the items and what they do. And if you could recognize a few simple symbols in terms of the ones for poison and things like that, Just a couple little things like that would really help you out. Those girls' orders, they're going to give you hints on like where to go. Sometimes they might be a little vague, like you know, something to do with fire, and so you know you have to go back to like the fire board, or something to do with ice, and you have to go back to the ice board. Things like that. There are some facts on Game Facts for this already. This was released on the PlayStation Portable, and this is a port which does have some additional stuff to it. But anyway, I think what I was saying was, when you get to the end of the game, you will choose one girl, and she sort of advances to an extra level where you can unlock more of her abilities. Now, I had my OP points maxed out to like 9,999, and I started raising that group of abilities, and I wasn't able to max them out with that maxed OP. It wasn't particularly hard to max my OP. You get a lot of it from the enemies towards the end of the game, but I did grind a bit, and it was a little demoralizing when I'm like, wow, that wasn't even enough. But you know, you definitely don't have to do that to beat the game. I finished it, and the ending was so it was so charming, you know. It just like I think I'm just a sucker for this, but like it made me feel so good. Just you know, I got Kisaragi's ending, and it was really sweet, and you know, it's fun. I mean, I guess you see a game like this, and you think it's just gonna be like shallow and pandering and you know, objectifying of women and things like that, but you know, and I guess on some levels it is, but it's also, you know, I think that the characters are interesting. You know, like these the characters are fleshed out so that you know, they seem more like real people. And you know, especially when you get further into the game, one of the levels in particular, each of the girls has to face their crime, really, and you get to find out sort of like what it was they did in life that ended them up in hell. And it's, you know, it's pretty heavy stuff. I wouldn't say necessarily extremely deep, but you know, there are a lot of feels, I guess, and it's you know, it's fun. I enjoy that aspect of it, and you know, um, I really liked that you can get to this ending. You know, that's really sweet. You get these kind of happy endings. So I really want to you know, see what some of the other endings are like with some of the other characters. I don't think they make it so it's really hard to do that, but I can imagine that if you're going through the game and trying to max out the skills on all of the girls, and it seems to me like there might be some hidden characters in this, at least one or two. I might be wrong about that. Maybe I'll look it up a little bit and see if I can give you guys some better information than my speculation. But you know, I just wanted to let you guys know what I thought of this game. I've been playing it for I don't know, a week, maybe a little bit over, and I really enjoyed it. I think that going for a platinum on this is going to get grindy and challenging, but just playing through it once and enjoying the story, enjoying the battle system, enjoying the leveling up mini game, if that's something that you enjoy, was a lot of fun, and I really liked it. I really liked playing this game. So just want to let you guys know what my thoughts were about this. You know, if you guys have any feedback about this, please let me know. But otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll join me again for more Japanese video game related videos. Thanks for watching.